Hello, I am Sean Thomas Conroe, here to present my research titled The Disabled Proletariat and Ableist Bourgeoisie. This research is about the struggle of a disabled proletariat against an oppressive ableist bourgeoisie. It is rooted in Marxist Social Conflict Theory, as best understood through the Communist Manifesto, written by Karl Marx and Frederick Engels. I have imagined this conflict as a derivative of the classic dialectic between Marx's proletariat of laborers and bourgeoisie of production owners. To me, it exists as a part of Marx's revolution. Essentially, it is a struggle of the proletariat against itself on its path to freedom from the bourgeoisie. If the struggle of the proletariat is a political one, as Marx wrote, then one should be able to follow it through political action. One might even be able to see the ongoing conflict as it develops, as the very front line of the conflict shifts. In order to understand the conflict between the disabled proletariat and ableist bourgeoisie, one must first define both ableism and disability. Disability can generally be understood in one of three ways. The first, the medical model, treats disability as an impairment or infirmity of body or mind. The second model, the social model, understands disability as a disruption or denial of access to society due to society's own barriers. It considers impairments as only a circumstance through which society can deny access. The third model accepts both of the former models, but seeks to frame disability in a neutral manner so that no assumption of harm or reduced well-being is made in regard to a person's disability. The aim of this research was to utilize all three models, preferring to understand disability in any way the disabled proletariat chooses to identify. The goal is to respect rights by the way of the medical and neutral models, and jurisprudence by way of the medical model. Ableism is a term used far less often. It is defined by Bogart and Dunn as, quote, stereotyping, prejudice, discrimination, and social oppression toward people with disabilities, end quote. It is in an inaccessible world, ableism can be assumed as the norm in a disabled person's life. It represents both conspicuous and unconscious efforts to reduce, deny, or alter the civil rights of disabled people. My research tracked the political actions of both the disabled proletariat and ableist bourgeoisie through a content analysis of news articles from the New York Times archive. Variables included the type of political action, who initiated it, and if there was a direct response. I coded over 900 cases covering the legacy of the ADA since its passage in 1990. This represents over 30 years of conflict containing epochs of issues. After coding, analysis revealed that the percentage of cases where the disabled proletariat was the responder declined over the course of the legacy of the ADA. This decline in response included political actions from terrorist activity to executive actions of the President of the United States of America. The research also found possible evidence that the disabled proletariat initiated more actions as time progressed after the ADA, but analysis found that the data did not rise to statistical significance. Further research into this might better illuminate the dynamic. This research revealed a handful of interesting epochs. The first was a series of challenges to the ADA, such as Case 914, where the federal government was struggling to provide rights to workers. The second epoch involved the struggle to get HIV and AIDS recognized as a disability. It effectively ended in 1993 with Case 831, but didn't technically end until the issue made its way to the Supreme Court in 1998, Case 648 in my research. After this epoch came another centered around a politician, Bob Dole, as he sought to become President of the United States. His widely publicized disability was a common talking point, and eventually, Bob Dole was accused of inappropriately likening his discrimination as a disabled man to that of the discrimination against the Jewish people in Nazi Germany. The final two epochs both involved former presidents of America. The fourth epoch surrounded George W. Bush's proposed tax plan and the changes to HMOs that would come with it. It was a short-lived epoch, but bore many resemblances to what Barack Obama would contend with during the passage of the Affordable Care Act. The last epoch of note involved Donald Trump's mocking of a New York Times reporter during his campaign for the 2016 election. It was a common talking point during Democratic debates, but not during Republican ones. So, what then can we make of all this? Is it the inertia of the ADA, the continued dominance of the ableist bourgeoisie, or is the revolution at hand? It doesn't look like the revolution is upon us. Rather, I think there are two possibilities. In the first, and less likely, case, the ADA provided impetus and inertia to the disability rights movement, where the further we get from 1990, the quieter the responding voice has become. This would make sense as other civil issues have come to the fore since, with different issues progressing in a non-parallel fashion. It could also be that these 30 years of America with the ADA are just a swing of the pendulum in the greater dialectic. What I think is more likely, however, is that the ableist bourgeoisie is reasserting its dominance as a reaction to the passage of the ADA. It is a part of the dialectic where the ableist bourgeoisie wants to reinforce its managing and oppressive role. It does not need to be a bleak, oppressed future, though. A decline was seen, but if this research is extended, one might be able to see how the dialectic has behaved both before and after the passage of the ADA. We can inquire as to the character of its development. We can also enhance the methods of the research to detect smaller changes in the conflict. All of these can provide a more clear picture of the ongoing struggle. This struggle of classes has certainly seen at least moderate activity. This activity belongs to the realm of revolutionary ideas, but perhaps not the full revolution of which Marx dreamed. The decline in responses of the disabled proletariat since the passage of the ADA might just be a lull in the greater conflict. It certainly seeks further inquiry. If you would like to talk about this research or my thoughts on the matter, please feel free to email me at stfconroe@gmail.com. If you would like to see the spreadsheet of coded cases, send me an email and I will get a copy to you. Thank you for your interest in this research. Please have an awesome day.